Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Hari Om. So we were studying 18th verse yesterday. Prajnanasya pravettaraha vachyartham manoviduh. So the meaning of prajnanam, consciousness or knowledge is, primary meaning is the mind. Vachyartham, direct meaning. And the implied meaning is what? Hridayam. That's what pravettaraha, the knowers of the truth, knows. So we saw, and the same thought is being asserted again in the last few lines of the commentary. It says, Vachyaika deshasya mana akhyanta karana upahita chaitanyasya lakshyarte hridaye tadatma sambandho grahyaha. So what is to be understood is that consciousness, upahita chaitanyam, mana upahita chaitanyam, that consciousness which is upahitam, as substratum of the mind, that is conditioned by the mind, that consciousness, upahita chaitanyam. Mana means antakaranam. So antakaranasya upahita chaitanyam, that consciousness which is there conditioned by the mind, is actually lakshyarte hridaye tadatma sambandho grahyaha. That same consciousness used to be understood as having an identity with the hridaya, the implied meaning of the consciousness or prajnanam. Now, I will give a small example. In the Shastras, we speak about avachedavada, pratibhimbavada, etc. We will not go into all those. But I give a small example. If there is a big pond, not so big, you can really see it. Pond is there. Lake or pond. Pond is better. Pond is smaller than the lake. So in that pond, you throw that rubber ring which people play, children play with a ring. So that ring is thrown on the water. Being made up of rubber, the ring won't be submerged. It will float. When the ring is there on the surface of the water, you can see the water conditioned by the ring is as though cut off from the rest of the water of the pond. Because exactly at the ring, the water under the ring is not visible to you. Exactly the ring is there, circumference of the ring, in between the hollow. But that water which is covered by the ring is not visible. Because it is not visible, we feel two divisions. One division is the water within the ring, clearly demarcated and seen, and rest of the pond water, very vast. So you can clearly see this water is conditioned by the ring. But actually, the water within the ring, circle of the ring, and the water in the pond, between these two, there are actually not two, there is only identity. Identity. So, tadatmyena sambandha. So, there is an identity between the consciousness conditioned by the mind, manah upahita chaitanyam. Upahitam and Visishtam, these are two technical terms which we will not go into that. With ring example, you understand. So the consciousness is there between every thought, substratum, within the mind it is there. So the Upahita Chaitanyam as Adhishtanam is not different from the heart. Because there is an identity between the Manah Akhya Antakarana Upahita Chaitanyam plus Hrudaya Chaitanyam, Hrudaya Chaitanyam, Hrudaye, Tadatmya Sambandho Grahya. It has to be understood, grasped. Sarvasyapi Padarthasya Swarupe Tadatmya Sambandhat. Everywhere you take any Padartha, it is always having an identity, sambandha, with the essence with which it is made up of. The pot is made up of the mud. So the pot has an identity with the mud. It is same. So Padartha you take, gold ornament is identity with the gold, need not be spoken separately. It is established. So everything, object, has in essence, it has identity with its own source. So therefore, here also, Tasmad Chaitanya Ekadesha Chit Swarupameva Lakshyartha Bhota Hrudayakyam Chit Swarupam iti Bhavaha. Tasmad Vachyaikadesha, Tasmad Vachyaikadesha Chit Swarupameva. So Vachyartham, that is mind, consciousness conditioned by the mind is the direct meaning of the prajnanam, visa. Therefore, Tasmat Vachyaikadesha Chitswarupasya, the water which is conditioned by the ring is not different from the pond water, the identity between that. Similarly, Vachyaikadesha Chitswarupameva, that consciousness, the nature of Chitswarupam, consciousness, which is conditioned by the mind, is actually nothing but the Chaitanyam which is there in the heart. They are not different. Cause consciousness, it is same. Iti bhavaha. Evam chito vachyartham manaha. Thus, the direct meaning of the mind is, the direct meaning of the chitaha, means consciousness, is the mind. Lakshyartham hrudayam. What is the implied meaning of the consciousness, prajnanam, is hrudayam. The heart, the self, the pure consciousness. Both are same. Pratipadya, having propounded that these two are not separate, there is an identity. Otherwise, Tattvamasi Mahavakya is not possible. Otherwise, Aham Brahmasmi to say is not possible. Ayam Atma Brahma is also not possible. Prajnanam Brahma. Which Prajnanam Brahma? That Prajnanam Brahma which is actually the Ayam Atma Brahma. Ayam Atma, this consciousness conditioned in me by my mind, by Antakarana, is in essence is the Brahman. There is an identity. Jiva Ishvarayoho Abhedaha. There is no difference. The water within the ring, confined within the ring, and the water in the pond are actually non-different. They are one alone. Only with respect to the ring, I feel there is some kind of water as though separated from the total water. So, evam chato vachyartham mana lakshyartham hridanja pratipadya tasmat hridayat na anyah para atma. Therefore, there is no other supreme consciousness or supreme self other than the heart. There is no pond other than the water which is there within the ring. There is no pond. Evam Urdayat na Urdayat Anyah Paratma Tasmat Urdayat na Anyah Paratma Brahmanaha eva Urdaya Kuhara Madhye Atma Rupena Spuranat iti Nirnaya Upadishtam. Therefore, the Brahman alone is shining in the cavity of the heart as self. Self means the I, which is that I is none other than Brahman alone. Therefore, soham saha aham. Iti nirnaya upadishtam. Thus, the final conclusion that self is Paramatma, Paramatma is self, everything is established in the self. Upadishtam has been taught by whom? By Ramana Maharshi. Very clearly he taught, this is the truth. Having understood this, now the difference between Drugdrushya, observer, and the observed doesn't exist. What we observe and the observer and the observed, the difference doesn't exist. This is what is shown now. What is that now? Atha drugdushya bheda abheda dhyam adhikritya aha. Now thus there is no difference between the observer and the observed. Vishaya, object. Vishayi, observer. There are actually no difference because only one vastu alone is there. So what is this now truth is? 19th verse. Drugdushya bheda dhiresha manasi pratitishthati hrudaye vartamananam drugdrusye naikatam vrajet. Drugdrushya bheda dhiresha manasi pratitishthati hrudaye vartamananam drugdrusye naikatam vrajet. Yesha asmadadinam vyavahara siddha drugdrushya bhedadihi. That which is our popular common experience of the difference between the observer and the observed, between the object of recognition and the recognizer. The difference is there. No, seer and the seen, smeller and the smelt, toucher and the taught. The difference between the experiencer and the experienced, the difference is seen. That drishyam cha drugdrushye Vishayi Vishaya Padavachye Tayoho Bhedaha Vibhagaha Pruthak Bhavam Ityartaha. Now, in our common experience is what? What is seen is different from the seer. Whatever you see, पेड़ देखा, फल को देखा, पुष्प को देखा, flower you saw, the fruit you saw, tree you saw, mountain you saw, river you saw, sun you saw, star you saw. Any object you see. This is the difference between the seer and the seen. Tasmin dhihi, in that buddhi idea of difference, grahanatmika buddhi, that is, buddhi is experiencing a difference between the knower and the known, seer and the seen difference. Drugdrushyayoho, between that, sorry, drashtru-drusyayoho, between the seer and the seen, pruthak bhava grahini vrittihi ityartaha. The thought which is experiencing the difference between the seen and the seer. Who is experiencing the difference? The thought. Vrittihi. That vritti, bheda drushti, sa manasi, that vritti, bheda drushti in the mind, sahasraragate vritti rupe pratitishthati. Where is this bheda rupam? The difference, the idea of difference between the seer and the seen is established at bheda drushti, where it is there, pratitishthati, manasi, vritti rupe, pratishtita bhavati. Thus, vritti rupe, in the form of a thought, in the sahasraragate, the mind which is in sahasraram, the crown chakra, there, the crown area, that mind is, the thought is dividing between the seer and the seen. So it is dividing, and one part is called as seer, other part is called as seen. Okay. Druk. Manasi esha bheda drushtihi na hrudayaha iti uttararthena aha. So therefore, drugdrushya bhedadihi esha manasi eva pratishtati. It is in this drushti, bheda drushti is in the mind and not in the hrudayam, not in the self. In the hrudayam, it cannot differentiate between one heart and another. There is no difference between. In the hrudayam, there is no difference. All differences are merged, resolved into one. In the mind, there is always duality. So, therefore, hrudaye swarupe vartamananam tishtatam atmavidam yavat. But on the contrary, those who are established in the heart, those who are realized, those who are stationed in the self, as a self, atmaniyeva atmana tushtaha, those who are contented within the heart, by the heart, as the heart, they remain. So, Atmavidam, Tishtatam Atmavidam iti yavat. Drug, for them, Drug, Drashta, Vishayi, Drushyena, Vishayena, Ekatam, Ekabhavam, Vrajet, Gachet. For them, there is no difference. They see identity between this object seen and the seer, the experiencer. There is no difference. Therefore, there is no difference between the seen and the seer. Therefore, they say, the realized master who is established in the heart sees everything as his own swarupa. I am the Jada Swarupa, I am Chetana Swarupa. Both, everything is me. That is experience. But what is the creating? Division is created by the thought. So what is a thought? Thought creates division. And the division is established only in the mind, not in the heart. Okay? So Atmavidam Hrudayanishtanam Moolaswarupat Abhinnatvena Drashtutva Siddhehe. For them, those who are established in the heart, that heart is drashtru, drashta. They are not different from that heart. Therefore, drishyasyapi swarupad abhinnatvam siddhyati. For them, not only the seer, who is the seer? The heart. So they don't see seer and seen as separate. Seer is actually the heart, the essence is heart, and the seen, the essence of the seen is also heart. Why? Because vastu is adhyastam, superimposed in consciousness. So there is no actually vastu. Essence of every vastu swarupa is Shuddha Chaitanyam. And the essence of the drashtru, the seer, is also Shuddha Chaitanyam. Therefore, there cannot be any two Chaitanyams. So, Adhishtanataya, there is only one. And those who are seated as Adhishtanam, as a substratum in the heart, for them, this division between the object, seen, and the seer is completely dissolved. Abhinnatvam siddhyati. They attain that abhinnatvam. Non-difference they attain. Atayeva drashtru drusyayoho swarupe tadatma sambandhat abhedah pratyapadi. Therefore, there is no difference between seer and the seen, object to seen. Swarupe tadatma sambandhat. How these two are dissolved? Because these two are connected. Adhyastam, superimposed on Adhisthana Chaitanyam. Adhisthana Chaitanyam is one. Therefore, these two are one and the same. Uttaratra cha idam prapancha ishyate. This will be told, further expanded in future. So, this is experience of the Mahatma. There is no duality for them. Okay, having said this, atha dvabhyam slokabhyam ajnanadashayam nimitta visheshaihi manovrittihi hrudayam prapnoti ityaha. But now, even in the state of ignorance, like all of us, right? There are certain conditions in the mind. When those conditions are triggered in the mind, in those conditions, even the Ajnani also attains the heart, the self, but not aware. In certain conditions, Ajnani also reaches the heart. When he recognizes the heart, he Urdayam prapnoti. Urdayam gacchati. Urdayam prapnoti. He attains the heart only. He is stationed as self only there in certain experiences of the mind. So certain mental experiences push you to the state of your own self, but not aware. What are the conditions? Murcha nidrati santoshaha shoka vesha bhayadhibihi nimittairahata vrittihi swasthanam hrudayam vrajet. Murcha nidrati santoshaha shoka vesha bhayadhibihi. Now, in certain, what is murcha? Moha, unconscious state or completely moha sthiti. Second is nidra, niswapna smrusuptihi, dreamless sleep, deep sleep state. Nidra. Atisantoshaha, you are extremely excited, joyful you are. In that great joy, all the thoughts disappeared actually. Then only you can be excited. In that state, you are actually with identity, with the self is established, but you are not aware. Then, shokaha, vishada also. In deep sorrow, you are in your own heart. Aveshaha, bhutanam akrama, when you are possessed by some deep thought or something. Bhayam, excessive fear also. You are in your own self. Because there the mind stops. Ityadibihi nimittaihi, because of these causes, nimitta causes. In this, because causes, when these causes are triggered in the mind, ityadibihi nimittaihi ahata hatat nihata. The mind suddenly, hatat, takes you from the situation and pushes you into self. You are in self. Ahar Brahma gacchati. Every day night we are going. And that's why this self-anubhuti is, everybody has got already realization, self-realization. Everyone experienced it many times. But we don't know. We did not recognize it. Hatat nihata manasi vrittihi swasthanam swamoolavbhutam hrudayam swarupam vrajet. That vritti, bhaya vritti, shoka vritti ityadi. Suddenly it forces and forces itself out of fear, goes into the self. So everybody has realized it actually. There is nothing to be realized. Because you are already enlightened, but not known. So, next verse, Tadana jnayate praptihi hridayasya sharirinam vijñāyate samadhauto nama bhedo nimittataha tadhana jnāyate praptihi hridayasya sharirina vijñāyate samadhauto nama bhedo tada मूर्छादि समये शरीरिणा देहिना पुरुषेण हृदयस्य प्राप्तिः स्वरूपलाभः न ज्ञायते. But when Murcha Purusha is there, and Bhayam is there, Santosha is there, Nidravastha is there, Shokavastha is there, in all these such conditions, in ignorant states, Dehina, by the embodied person, though he attains the self, na jnayate, he is not knowing it. That this is the state of the Atma Tattvam, he is not knowing it. It is not a thought, but you are established in heart. The thought has certain thoughts, takes you to heart, and all other thoughts are stopped. And you are in your own self. But you don't know that. Na jnayate, na avagamyate. But in samadhi, what is happening? Samadhautu jnanapurvakam hrudaye vrittina upasamharat nishpanne. When jnanapurvakam, when you are awake in samadhi, you are not in deep sleep state, you are not in murcha sthiti, you are not in fear, you are not in shoka, etc. You are not in sorrow, but you are full awake. When you are awakened and dissolved all the thoughts, vrittina upasamharat, when all the thoughts are withdrawn, when you are quite awake, nishpanne, sarupa avasthiti rupe hridayasya prapti vijñāyate. But he knows the self. Why? He is conscious in awakened state. He withdraws all the thoughts consciously. So he knows this is the realization, this is samadhi, this is the blissful state. He awakens to that. But in our case, we are not awake. We are not conscious. These other conditions are triggering. So actually they are making me unaware. They are putting me into a kind of a state of non-apprehension, not apprehending the truth. Deep sleep state. वहाँ पे आपका आत्मदर्शन करा दिया. But you are not aware. Therefore, vijñāyate. So therefore, in this case of samadhi, is very aware. Not slept, withdraws. So nidradishu na jnāyate hridaya praptihi samadhau tu jnāyate iti nimittataha. Therefore, what is understood? In nidra, etc. states, in deep sleep state, etc., you are not knowing that we are realized the truth. You are realized the truth. You are in self. You attain the heart. But in samadhi, you know that you have attained the heart. So one is his knowing state, other is unknowing state. Nimittataha Hetu Vishesha. Because of this reason, Nama Bhedo Nidra Ityadi Nama Bhedaha. Therefore, there is only Nama Bheda is there. What is the Nama Bheda? Nidra, Shoka. Actually, they are also states of awakening only. They are also taking you to the same state. Why Nama Bheda is given? Because one state in you are awake, in other state it is not awakened. Therefore, it is a difference only in the name. Experience is same. But you are not awakened. In some state you are not awakened, you are not knowing it. In some state, you know it. So, Nama Bheda, the state in which you know you are in self, Samadhi. The state in which you don't know that you are in self, Nidra, Murcha, Shoka, Bhaya, Ityadi. Okay? That is the truth. Therefore, this is the beautiful chapter called Hrudaya Vidya by Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi. This is a very essential, important chapter in Ramana Gita, 5th chapter, which spoke about Hrudaya Vidya. That is, what is the heart and how to, what is the realization, etc., has been beautifully explained by Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi. The next 6th chapter is about mind control. Mind control. That we will see in the next session. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Satgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. Thank you. Hari Om.